Hi everyone, Frank for Study English with Us, and today we're going to talk about the English idiom, it's a real rip-off. It's a real rip-off. Let's get started. Well, if you have been living around English-speaking people for any length of time, you have probably heard this statement, oh, it's a rip-off, or it's a real rip-off. And you may have wondered the first time you heard this, you might have had to ask your friends, what do you mean by that? It's a real rip-off. What's ripped off? And it simply means that the item that they're referring to is overpriced, or the company or the person who is charging you for that fee or service are making a lot more money than they should. So the people who have to use that service will talk about it and say, oh, it's a real rip-off. It's a real rip-off. Maybe some examples we could think of. When you go to the movie theaters and they want to charge you $10 for a bag of popcorn, when you know that popcorn like that probably only costs about 50 cents, and they're making $9.50 for the fact that you would like to have some popcorn while you watch the movie, well, you might say, oh, as you sit down with your friend at the theater, you might say, oh, this popcorn, that's a real rip-off. It's a real rip-off. Perhaps while you're having a meal at the restaurant, you might like to have something to drink as well. And so you ask for the drink menu and you take a look at the prices. And for a lemonade, they want $7 for a lemonade. And you say, oh, I'd really like to have something to drink, but that's too much of a rip-off. It's too pricey. It's too expensive. It's more than I'm willing to pay. They're making way too much money on that item. I'm not going to get it. It's too much of a rip-off. So you get the idea. It's something that's very expensive, something that shouldn't be as expensive as it is, and people will complain about it, calling it a rip-off. Now, there is something else in English that people also refer to as a rip-off that you should know about. And that is if somebody is stealing somebody else's intellectual property. For example, a musician composes a beautiful song and it becomes a hit on the radio, and someone else comes along and uses almost the same melody, maybe some of the same words, and tries to sell it or become popular because of that. But people listen to it and they realize it's just kind of a copy of somebody else's work. They'll say, oh, he ripped that off from the other guy. He ripped it off. So the phrase rip-off can also refer to stealing somebody else's work. Another example might be, maybe it's a beautiful dress that has been designed by a professional designer. And it sells for a good price because it is designed by a known brand. And somebody comes along and they just kind of copy the design and sell it for a lot less than the original. And the professional brand, the original designer of the dress might say, oh, that's when they see some copies, they might say, oh, that's such a rip-off. They've really ripped off our dress. They've stolen the design. Another similar term would be, oh, that's just a knockoff. That's just a knockoff. You know, somebody might be selling designer handbags on a street corner. Handbags that might sell in the store for $3,000, they're being sold on the street corner for only $100. Most people might not even be able to tell the difference between the copy and the original design. And so people will buy this knockoff or this ripped off design on the street corner for $100, and they might, take it out that evening and show it off to their friends. Some people might be very impressed that they were able to afford such an amazing, expensive purse or handbag. But others might say, oh, it's probably just a knockoff, a rip-off, a copy of the original design. Well, that's our idiom for today, and I hope that you liked it. If so, give us a like, share with your friends, and if you haven't yet, we invite you to subscribe to our channel here for more lessons like this at Study English with Us. So long for now.